denominations where they're welcome, and still others have formed their own churches or created ministries outside the bounds of any denominations, sometimes ministries in the streets themselves.
There probably are not very many stoles. I know of 2 stoles for transgender people in the Shower of Stoles. I hope that there will be more in the years ahead, because transgender people are probably even more frightened by the abusive possibilities of spiritual communities than gay and lesbian people are. And it's a bigger struggle to come out as transgender in the church today than it is today being gay and lesbian. It's probably very much like it was 20 years ago. You know, there are not very many stoles there, and it's important to me that mine is one of the first ones that is for transgender people. It's also very important to me to be a part of that community, to be part of the shower itself and not be, you know, it's so easy to get singled out as a transgender person and as a transsexual minister, to sort of be seen as unique and special, and in a sense, I really don't belong anywhere. When I go to presbytery meetings, I'm seen as the transsexual, and when I go to meetings of transgender people, I'm seen as the minister. And the Shower of Stoles is a place where I'm one among many people, and there are brothers and sisters, and I belong to that group, and there's something that really feels good about that to me.
As I unpacked those stoles, one by one, taking them out of a box in which they had been so carefully laid, I found myself becoming very moved by the lives of people that I held in my hands in those stoles. As I held those stoles and then read the poignant stories that were attached to those stoles, I realized that in many ways I was holding not only lives, but I was holding the sacred. I began to get a bit weepy, and I realized that it's impossible for persons to look at those stoles without experiencing a profound and deep sense of emotion because of all of the wasted gifts that are not present in our churches, all the people who have suffered in deep pain, and most of them having been excluded from ministerial service, ordained ministerial service in the church. I think those stoles provide a way in which the church can teach its people the meaning of the loss of competent, capable, experienced, loving, prepared pastors in our congregations.
Some of the most important stoles in this collection are the ones that say the very least. A pastor, anonymous, Hawaii, Kentucky minister. And in a very few words, we have a volume of a story. We've gotten dozens and dozens of stoles from folks who must remain anonymous. We've had people who have left stoles on a chair when I've been at a display and walked away for just a few minutes. We've gotten so many through the mail that came with letters that weren't signed, and all we could do was look at a postmark to see where it might have come from, to guess what part of the country it might have been from. And in one case, we got a stole, and the postmark was smudged. So to this day, we don't know who it came from. We don't even know what part of the country it's from, and I suspect that we never will. The stole said simply, "I send you this Advent stole because I am one
who waits in lonely exile here. I mourn for my brothers and sisters who also wait in exile, waiting for the day
when the temple is restored and all may freely serve."
Anonymous, ordained 1995.
Anonymous, United Methodist Elder, California.
Anonymous Gay Presbyterian, Boston Presbyterian.
Anonymous, ELCA Minister, California.
Anonymous, ordained deacon.
I am an ordained elder in the United Methodist Church, and I am gay. Southeastern U.S.
Anonymous Christian educator.
Anonymous, TB&D. We are 3 gay students at a Lutheran seminary. Although our voices are silenced, we stand together in the faith that God has called us to ministry, and in the hope that one day soon our gifts will be honored by this church.
Anonymous, Atlanta, Georgia.
Anonymous, minister, Anonymous Free Will Baptist, student preacher and youth director. In keeping with my Baptist tradition, which does not include such things as stoles, please accept my usual Sunday garb, a necktie.
There is more love in God than sin in us, a lesbian pastor.
Jamie, my friend.
Porque Dios me amó primero, solo quiero ser fiel a Él y a la iglesia que Él me llamó a servir. Un ministro gay hispano del norte.
Honoring a United Methodist probationary member who is being discontinued.
Partners in life, partners in ministry, 2 gay pastors.
From an anonymous gay pastor, in the hope that the church will affirm my identity in the same way they have affirmed my gifts for the ministry.
Anonymous pastor in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, in celebration of the 19th anniversary of my ordination.
Anonymous Missouri Synod Lutheran, St. Louis.
Anonymous, Wyoming.
Anonymous, Atlanta, Georgia.
Anonymous, a lesbian pastor.
It is a reminder to me that every time we receive an anonymous stole, I remember where I was at that time and the loneliness I felt and the question of would the church ever accept me and the fears, because I had invested so much of my life and my energy and my being in the church that it was hard to imagine having the church reject me, which is what I knew would happen if I came out.
All the work we're doing for inclusivity for gays and lesbians and bisexuals and transgender is for the kids. I think about the boys and the girls who didn't have this kind of support when they were growing up. A friend of ours who died after 70 years old, who had none when he was growing up, thought he was the only gay person in the world and that he had been born a freak. So I think it's about them. I worshiped in a church today and I saw 25 children receive their 3rd grade gift Bibles, and I couldn't help but reflect on how surely 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or more of those children are going to grow up and realize they're gay or lesbian. And I don't think, unless we change this church, that they're going to feel as welcome in the church as they do today when they receive their Bibles. So my husband and I made this stole for the project in honor of our son Clayton, and on it we wrote, "This stole is in honor of our son Clayton, raised in the Presbyterian Church, having a mother who is an ordained clergywoman. Clayton was a gifted, creative, spiritual child who came out to his family at the age of 19. As a teen, Clayton was confirmed in the Presbyterian Church, active in an ecumenical youth group, and even preached to his mother's congregation before he was known to be gay. Although he is still very spiritual, he is no longer a part of the church. If it were a welcoming church, would this be the case? For Clayton, who taught us what social justice and the love of Jesus really means." It's all about the kids.
We are the middle school youth group of Wallingford United Methodist Church. We made this stole because we feel that the church has treated lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons unfairly. We know how this feels because sometimes we as youth are treated unfairly. We don't think it's right for people to be excluded from the church. It feels good to speak up, to let other people know how we feel, and to know that this message will be heard throughout the country. We want to let you know that God loves everybody, no matter if you're straight, lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender, and that you can come to our church and be happy being who you are.
I will come to you in the silence. I will lift you from all your fear. You will hear my voice. I strength for all the despairing, healing for the ones who dwell in shame. All the blind will see, the lame will run free, and all will know my name. Do not be afraid, I am with you. I have called you each by name. Come and follow me, and I will bring you home. I love you, and you are mine. I am